The sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild finally got a new trailer after 2 years from its initial announcement back in E3 of 2019. The game looks absolutely phenomenal, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'll be able to explore the familiar lands of Hyrule once more, as well as the new islands in the sky. There's a lot to cover in this trailer with just under 2 minutes of footage to look at. If for some reason you haven't seen the newest trailer for Breath of the Wild sequel, click the card on top of the screen and give it a watch, then come back here for the analysis. Without further ado, let's quit the small talk and start the video. The trailer starts with the looming aura of Malice starting to grow and stretch across the screen. This is a parallel to the green energy swirls seen in the initial announcement trailer for Breath of the Wild's sequel. Suddenly, we get a quick snippet of Link. Malice is seeping around and consuming Link's sword arm in this scene as Link grabs his arm and clenches his teeth in pain. If we look closely, the Master Sword's sheath as well as the Master Sword itself can be seen here in this shot, but only briefly. This is the only shot in the trailer that contains the Master Sword, so it's possible that after Link's arm was consumed by Malice, the Malice somehow affected Link's spirit, which deemed him unworthy of being able to wield the Master Sword. It's all just speculation though, as we don't really know what happens to the blade. After this, the shot fades to show the continuation of the Malice corrupting the screen. A quick shot of Ganondorf shows the Demon King raising his hands as he conducts his spreading Malice. Some things to note here is that Ganondorf seems to have holes in his abdomen area just below his ribcage, as well as holes in his hands. Seeing the holes within his hands, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Christian cross crucifixion. The Zelda series, when first starting out, used to use the Christian cross as a part of religious inspiration in the series. The cross itself can be seen on Link's shield both in-game and as promotional art for the original Legend of Zelda game, as well as Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Another thing to note here is that Ganondorf seems to have what looks to be a horseshoe on his person, keeping his threads tied together. It definitely could not be a horseshoe as well, but takes a shape similar to one. I figured it was worth noting because in the initial trailer for Breath of the Wild's sequel, we really only got a good glimpse of Ganondorf's upper half. Anyways, the shot of Ganondorf fades out and we see the continuation of Malice corrupting the screen. The blood-red tentacles of Malice seep into every corner of the screen until the shot cuts to a quick scene of Zelda plummeting deeper into the caves Link and Zelda were exploring in the initial trailer. Now, this scene makes me wonder if Zelda plummets to her death? From what it looks like, Zelda is falling very far down into these caves. So far down that you can't see the bottom. It's a rather dark thought for a Zelda game, but this game is supposedly going to be darker than your average Zelda game, according to Eiji Aonuma, producer of the Zelda series. This scene also makes me think about how in the initial trailer, we can see quick shots of Link grabbing Zelda's hand before she can fall, followed by the mysterious hand grabbing a hold of Link's. After this shot, the true magic begins. A bright light shines through the black on the screen to reveal Link free-falling through the sky, which is an obvious callback parallel to Link free-falling in Skyward Sword. Link also can be seen in a sick new set of apparel. Link is wearing some sort of green garb around the left half of his torso, combined with a grey skirt-esque apparel. He's also wearing knee-high sandal straps. The most interesting tidbit is his right arm. Link's arm is blackened, possibly from the Malice infection we witnessed earlier in the trailer, as it trails off across the right side of his body in the form of some trail or vein-like tattoos. The mysterious hand seems to have paired up with Link for this adventure, as the metallic designings from the mysterious hand seen in the initial trailer are now wrapped around Link's infected arm. Link's hair is worth noting too, as some people believe that Link's hair has gotten longer. I, however, think Link's hair is the same length, but he just removed the ponytail. The clouds in this shot are absolutely incredible looking too. If we look below Link, we can see some of the first sky islands seen in the trailer. If we look at one of the islands here, we can see a house or house-like structure on said island. After this shot, we cut to a night scene in the sky of Link paragliding through the open air. Link's paraglider is now complete with streamers. It's a rather nice touch, don't you think? In this shot, we can also see Link is equipped with his new gear. Link seems to be wearing some new form of pants and boots, as they differ from the sandals and skirt seen in the previous shot. Link's new shield is what gets me the most in this shot, as the eye on the shield vastly reminds me of the Eye of Vadi. As the camera zooms past Link, we get a better view of some more islands. On the right side, we can see a structure of some kind peeking over the clouds here. At the top of these islands, we can see another structure on the edge of this small island. After this scene, the trailer cuts to a gorgeous cinematic shot of Link running across one of the sky islands with a couple islands floating above him. Birds can be seen flying away as Link approaches them. On Link's left and right, there are more unexplained structures. At the very end of Link's running direction, we can see what seems to be what looks like the entrance to a Shinto shrine. Just a thought, but maybe these entrances help Link get from island to island? I guess we will have to wait and see. Link is also wearing the same clothing and equipment as he was in the previous shot. After this, the camera cuts to a scene where we can see a mysterious new creature. In the first couple of frames for this scene, we can see this creature actually has talon-like claws or hands. On the bottom of this creature, we can see that there seems to be some kind of new, unique symbol on the creature. Based on the color choice, it makes me think of the ancient robotic technology seen in Skyward Sword, where Link has to thrust his sword inside the gadgets in order to solve puzzles. Perhaps something of similar fashion will be used here? When we look up at the creature's neck, we can see what looks like the same energy as the mysterious green energy seen in the initial trailer. Could this monstrosity be tied to it? Now, we've reached the creature's head, and among it are two great white pinecone looking items, one on the left and one on the right. These pinecone designs resemble the ones seen in Skyward Sword. Whenever Link finished a Silent Realm, a spiritual parallel to the real world, in order to strengthen Link's spirit, it would reward Link with a fancy new item that would be inside one of these pinecone-like objects. Underneath these pinecone-like designs, there are two earring-esque stone structures that are designed in an eye shape. These eyes, as well as the main eye on this creature, make me think of the eye design for Vadi. There's most likely no connection between the two, but something to think about. At the end of the scene, the creature seems to lean down and tilt its head just a tad in curiosity toward the camera. Who to? I personally think it could be towards Link, but we won't know for sure until the game is released. Next shot, we see Link paragliding down onto Hyrule Field, past a bokoblin fort built on top of a stone talus. Okay, now that is pretty awesome. Some quick notes here are that Link is once again wearing his champion's tunic outfit, complete with ponytail. His equipment seems to be the Traveler set from the original Breath of the Wild, the Traveler sword, shield, and bow. The bokoblins themselves are also sporting a new look, as they have much bigger horns this time around. Their horns remind me of the horns that moblins possessed in Breath of the Wild. Next shot, we can see Link's new arm is being fueled with that mysterious green energy we previously mentioned was from the initial trailer. Underneath Link, he seems to be laying on some sort of stone with markings etched into it. The way this stone is formed due to its curvature, it reminds me of the broken Zonai monument seen on Palmore Beach. Link also seems to be wearing different garments on his lower half here. Next shot, we see Link approaching a massive spiked metal ball hurtling towards our hero. Link uses some sort of power directly from his hand, and not only stops the ball from moving, but also reverses time for the ball specifically, causing the ball to roll back up the mountain and kill the enemies behind it. First thing to note here is that the back of Link's hand glows with a golden light when he performs this time reversal magic on the spiked ball. Any longtime Zelda fan knows that a light from the back of one's hand is usually depicted as the Triforce. As far as we know, Zelda herself has been the only one using the power of the Triforce as seen in Breath of the Wild, both when she stops the Guardian from killing Link and when she uses its power to eradicate Calamity Ganon at the end of the game. There's also a possibility that the glow on Link's hand simply matches the color of which ability or rune he will use. In this case, it was the incredibly more powerful stasis-like ability that is able to reverse time on an object. The time reversal effect on the spiked ball reminds me of the moment in The Wind Waker when the flow of time was restored to Hyrule Castle beneath the ocean when Link withdrew the Master Sword from its pedestal. There's an enemy fortress located at the summit of this hill, with more bokoblins and moblins seen in the background. Up front, there's two blue bokoblins, and a red moblin that gets hit by this spiked ball. The blue bokoblins also have this new horn feature, but there seems to be a vine-like wrapping around this one. The moblin looks like it's wearing a skull or some other spherical item on its head. After this shot, we cut to Link in mid-combat fighting some kind of parasite underground. The parasite-like creature makes me think it's some kind of combination between a lever and the parasitic tentacles from Jabu Jabu's belly in Ocarina of Time. The parasitic creature seems to be guarding the pedestal that's located behind it. The creature has sharp fang-like teeth around the edges of its center. The sphere in the center could be its eyes, but that's just a guess. If we take another look at Link, we can see he has some sort of dragon head-like object attached to his shield. In the first couple frames of this shot, before the dragon head ignites into a flamethrower, we can see the same green mystery energy as before. The dragon head then, as I've already mentioned, begins to engulf the parasitic creature in flames. Link then backflips to dodge the attack the creature throws at him before going limp onto the ground in the last few frames of the shot. If we look at Link's new mystery hand, we can see that it's rather damp in black pigment, and it even looks a tad swollen. The next scene is a quick shot of a water droplet dropping in reverse. It starts off as a puddle, then forms into a droplet and starts rising up and away from the circular rock formation it came from. It's a little interesting as to how this liquid is formed, as if we reverse this clip so the laws of nature apply, the droplet actually doesn't hit the bottom of the stone before spreading into the puddle seen in the beginning of the clip. Instead, it looks like it spreads at the surface level of this miniature hole. When the water droplet is formed in this clip, there are a couple frames in this shot where if we look closely at the droplet, we can see a marking of some kind in the droplet itself. It could be a marking of where this liquid comes from, or it could simply be light fragmentation in the droplet, and it's simply highlighting the stone ridges in the ground on the opposing side of the droplet from the camera's point of view. Once the liquid droplet starts rising, we get a much better view of the stone hole it rested in. The hole is worth noting by itself because it looks man-made. Almost perfectly circular, with a ring-like pattern in it almost forming a bowl within the ground. For the next shot, Link can be seen diving skyward within two swirling strands of the mysterious green energy. During this dive, we can see Link's right arm glowing with the same energy. It's possible that because it is seen glowing here and not in other shots, that the magic from this mysterious hand is what is causing Link to be able to do the very thing shown on screen. Link then morphs into the bottom of this island and, like a portal, slips through to the top of one of the islands in the sky to finish his transportation. We then get a beautiful view of a few of the new islands in the sky that are explorable to Link's content. On Link's right, there's a new structure here with a set of stairs, decorated with the same pinecone-esque objects seen on the creature which was seen earlier in the trailer. If we look below the clouds, we can see an estimate on where these islands in the sky are located. From what we can tell, the area looks to be the Ceres Scablands, a field of massive tree-like mushrooms rising high above the ground. If I'm being honest though, the segment of Link diving skyward into the island in the sky from below using the strands of energy reminds me of Portal 2. In Portal 2, there's a mechanism in the game called an exertion funnel, which is a piece of technology in the game that generates a cylinder-shaped beam of light with anti-gravity generation. The beam is used to project Chell, the main protagonist of the game, or object into specific areas in order to solve puzzles. The similarities end there, but it's a fun connection, don't you think? As we approach the end of the trailer, we are met with a shot of Hyrule Castle rising out of the ground. The shot pans to what seems to be Zelda's bedroom chamber falling apart from the castle. Could this be a subtle hint towards Zelda's fate? The segment ends with a powerful shot of Hyrule Castle continuing to rise out of the ground, as Malice forces the castle skyward and chunks of the earth attached to the castle break away. I think it's worth noting that the Malice here is blood red, like Breath of the Wild's Blood Moon, rather than the faint pink or purple-like tones Malice gave off from Calamity Ganon. Finally, we are met with the final shot from the trailer. A broad landscape view of the kingdom can be seen here, with Hyrule Castle floating above the land and Malice pouring out from beneath the ground. There's a couple of things to note here. First off, the castle floating in the sky as it is, with Malice pouring out from beneath, is very similar to how Ganon's castle was portrayed in Ocarina of Time. In the landscape, we can see some of Hyrule Castle town still present here, as well as some of Hyrule Field. The ancient Sheikah barrier towers are also notably missing alongside anything else Sheikah related. There's no guardians to be seen at all in the trailer, nor the Sheikah Slate. Lastly, there's a beautiful yet luminous sunset lighting up the scenery as Hyrule Castle once again taunts our chosen hero. The trailer ends showing us an aimed release date of 2022. My guess is it will come out in the summer or holiday of 2022, but ideally, I think it would be insanely cool if Nintendo released the game on March 3rd, 2022 for Breath of the Wild's 5-year anniversary. Man, time really does fly, doesn't it? Thank you all so much for watching this analysis and discussion breakdown for the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I know there's a lot of these kind of videos popping up all over the web at the moment by so many other skilled content creators, so it means a lot you decided to give mine a watch. What did you think of the video? Anything I missed? Are you excited to play the sequel? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't yet, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Zelda content if you haven't already. You can check out my socials in the description below as well as my Discord. That's all for now, so thank you all so much for watching. My name is HylianLuke, and I will see you all next time. Ciao!